Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. We're your hosts. I'm Sybil Amuti.
And I'm Brandis Daniel.
And we have with us a third great girlfriend. Let's welcome Miss Angela Holton from Love Sanctuary.
Hello, great girlfriend. Thank you for having me.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you. It's so nice to finally be on your platform and speak to your audience.
We're
so excited, Angela.
Yay.
And sitting here talking to you now, I miss your face.
Well, I just saw something you posted. Was it with you and your husband? I'm like, this woman is just a spirit of joy. Yes, I think it may have been a picture of you and your husband. Or no. It was you maybe and your sister. Did someone have a birthday recently?
No, I went to visit
A baby shower?
Ooh.
Did someone have a baby?
7 baby showers coming up. So not yet, but they're coming. But I probably was visiting with a friend for lunch or something like that.
It was someone you were hugged up with, and your head is kind of peering on the side. And I'm like, she's just infectious with her love and laughter.
Thank you.
It was Kristen.
Kristen, that's right. Kristen just had a baby.
See,
Lily.
I know I'm not crazy.
You're on it.
You didn't know I'm stalking you?
No, I didn't know. I know. So we're mutual stalkers. Girlfriends, you are in for a treat. You are in for not even just a regular kind of treat, like a mega chocolate brownie sundae treat with whipped cream and all the extra toppings, that kind of goodness that Angela's going to bring us today in our love series.
Oh my goodness. Ooh, expectations.
Pressure. Lots of pressure.
Cherry on top too.
Yes. So Angela, tell us first, before we dive in, how was your weekend?
Oh, my weekend. Productive. Usually the weekends are for me to play, truly play. And I got a little playtime in on Friday. And as you know, I'm always promoting play on my social media, but I'm working on a big project. So I ended up playing a little bit on Saturday, but working a lot on Sunday, which I don't normally do, but it's a temporary sacrifice for hopefully big gains.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a nice weekend.
And Brandis, how was your weekend?
Well, I have been away from New York for a full month.
Wow.
I have had a full month of having the amazing opportunity of traveling to Israel with reality, and then going to Memphis and doing the event there. And then my great aunt actually passed while I was in Memphis. So we had her, we celebrated her life while I was there. And so I got back on Saturday, met Rich at the airport. He had flowers, which was so sweet. And so it's just been, I've been nesting all weekend. I don't think I've done much of anything.
I want to hear about Israel one day.
Absolutely.
And sorry for your loss.
Yeah, no, it was a life. She loved so much. She definitely left a huge legacy of love. So we celebrated her life.
That's wonderful.
Aww.
Yeah. Sid, how was yours?
It was good. It was like, kid zone over here. I mean, like we had play dates for 3 days because the kids were out of school, so there were friends over every day.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I'm so happy they went to school today.
Sybil, I imagine you really love it because I can see that you still have a big inner kid in you.
I'm a total 12-year-old.
Yes,
I absolutely.
I know you are.
The kids are always like, okay, so Mom, you going upstairs? I'm like, oh, okay. Y'all don't want me in this play date? All right, got it.
Wait till they get older and their bedroom doors are shut, and that's what I'm experiencing with my nieces, my sister's kids, and they're teenagers, and they used to play with me and be excited when I walked in the door. Now it's doors are shut, they're on their phone, happy if I get a text back from them.
Oh my God.
I know.
I'm not looking forward to it.
It's rough.
Angela, it's so funny because Sybil literally has I don't know, she's running a child care program. Every time I call her, honestly, there are play dates after play dates. Oh, I got 2 play dates. What's going on, Sybil? Sam has a play date over. Dylan has a play date over. It is Kitty Central. I love it.
I'm telling you, she looks like a day camp counselor, YMCA day camp counselor, and I know she loves it. She's perfect, perfect for that role.
Love it. I love it. I get so caught up, and I'm just curious. And honestly, I'm that mom that I'm like, you know what? If you're gonna hang, you may as well hang here.
That's
You
right. That's
know,
nice. That's
and I can
nice.
keep eyes, and I can keep up, and I can learn stuff, and I don't know. I don't know. It's fun. It is fun, but I do when they leave. I want complete silence. I want no one talking to me at all.
That's nice to be the fun house, the house that all the kids want to come to.
Yeah, I didn't have that growing up, and so I want to offer that to my kids. It's a gift as a mom to open it up to their friends and allow them to have space to play and just feel like it's their space too.
It is. That's nice.
Yeah.
It's great.
So Angela, if we had to
Yes.
we're gonna dive in.
Let's dive.
Let's dive. We want to start, Angela, with the woman Angela. We'll build up, girlfriends. You'll have a chance to learn. I hope you have your pen and paper out, but you'll have a chance to learn more about Angela's Love Sanctuary and excuse me, the program that she's building out that I think will be launching late November. But in line with our love message, Angela, I was talking to Brandis and I was like, Angela is a perfect fit because we've covered love and relationships. We've covered, love, excuse me, in love relationships, we've covered love between family, but we haven't really talked about self love. And we visit this topic probably quarterly, I would say. We last visited it maybe with Ty Beauchamp, right, Brandis?
Yep, we sure did.
But we can't forsake it. We can't forsake it now more than ever. The more confident and the more loving we are towards ourselves, the more bold we can be around, reversing some of the cycles that are plaguing women. And so we want to tap in with you as the love expert, in on that love, what is love and self love. But we want to know first, who is Angela?
Who am I? I am a woman who is striving to know and understand herself every day, who is truly committed to this journey of relationship with myself and being the best person I can be to myself so that I can be a better person in how I show up to people as a daughter, sister, friend, aunt, hopefully one wife one day, maybe mother one day. And that's really what drives me. That's what's driven me all my life, is to just be a better person. And I take that to heart. Each day I really try to live in through my heart and with my heart. And that's my prayer every morning, is to be a vessel of love, and that every person that crosses my path, that they witness and experience love, no matter how minute or mundane their interaction is with me. That's really important for me. And I feel like that's my mission and my passion for being here. Love Sanctuary is my baby. I'm very passionate about my little baby. I love to travel. Just got back from Paris for my birthday, which was awesome. And lived in Italy for a short period of time, lived in Bermuda for 2 years. So I really also feel like my journey is to explore and experience as much as I can, like as many iterations of myself as I can, and experience as many people and cultures as I can. Love to travel, love to play. You talk about you being a child, Sybil. I am still a big kid. Like, I don't ever want to lose my inner child spirit. Love to play, love to be silly and goofy. People think sometimes people say I come across as sort of reserved, and maybe that is partly true. But really, if you know me and underneath all that, not even underneath it, really side by side to that, I'm goofy, I'm silly. I want to laugh. I want to play. I want to laugh so hard I'm on the floor laughing. If I'm not laughing, I'm not living, for me, really.
Mm-hmm.
So true.
Mm-mm.
So true. So Angela, can you tell us or walk us through what prompted you to start the Love Sanctuary?
Ooh, okay. So I will say that this journey has been a lifelong journey. And the seeds of Love Sanctuary were placed in me from childhood. Um, I was born or became a very sensitive, compassionate child, always very in tune with my feelings and my thoughts, and very perceptive of other people's thoughts and feelings, and having an ability to articulate my feelings in words and writing and in expressing myself. And, I never knew that that was sort of a gift or talent placed in me until I became older, and I would hear from other people, you express yourself really well and you're in touch with your feelings. And I thought most people were. And now that I'm doing this work, I realize that, many people do struggle with being in touch with their emotions. But in any event, my parents were married when they were very young, and my dad had just returned from Vietnam. So they had a very short, brief marriage. And, through their divorce, which was a difficult divorce, my dad, there were moments of estrangement with my dad over the years. And then my mother became a single mom and, raising three girls, creating an amazing life for us. I imagine that it was difficult maybe for her to give all of us the love and attention that we needed. And so from that was born in me a desire to love deeply. I feel like a large part of my journey has been looking and searching for this deep connection, this deep love, that someone would understand my heart and could connect my heart in this way that I felt was really deep and intrinsic. And it wasn't until 2000 where I was given a dog as a gift. Was not looking for a dog at all. And he showed up in my life as a gift. And what I discover now is that all the love that I was searching for, and wanted to give, I wanted to love something ferociously. I poured it into this little 6-pound dog. This poor little dog got consumed, was consumed with like all my love, everything that I held in, everything I wanted to give and could share generously and unabashedly and fearlessly. I gave it to this little dog. He became my life. And so I say all this to say that it was when he died in 2014 that, this hole in my heart that was probably there even before he came into my life was so massive, was so huge. And the space that he took in my life was also empty, and I just felt extremely alone and extremely sad. And it was really a calling and an awakening. I went through really, I call a spiritual death, where I just kind of went to a sleep. And I reawakened, and I got a message and a sign and a call, really, that I am to be an example of the love that I gave to my little animal and that he gave to me, and to really understand what that love was and what it looked like. And, God said to me, I want you to love yourself, and then I want you to share your lessons with other people. And my thought was, how do I teach, share love? And, Spirit spoke back to me and said, just be it, just become it. And so what I realized in my whole journey was that the person and the things and the people that I was looking to really love and in search for was really myself. And so I really took it upon myself to diligently, consistently understand what it meant to love myself. And I made it a practice. I researched, I read, and I just stayed in tune with myself. And just through my grief and the pain that I was going through, I offered myself loving kindness, patience, tenderness. And I realized this is love. This is loving myself. In spite of everyone telling me, you need to move on, you need to get another new dog, I honored myself. I honored my feelings. I honored where I was, and honored that I will get through this in my time. And in doing that, this just wave of understanding came to me that this is what people need to know more of. They need to know what it looks like to really love yourself. And so that's how all of this was born and created. I mean, as soon as I got the inner calling, I literally started blogging. I was signed up for a coaching program. Well, I had signed up before my dog died, and then the program started a few weeks after his transition. And I've just dived in and I haven't stopped. And so much has happened in such a short period of time, but that's how it all started.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. What are some of the things that you had to start doing daily that helped you on this journey to self-love? Like some things that maybe were a big transition for you from what you had done daily before.
Well, some of the daily practice that I had already incorporated, which I do believe are really important self-love practices, and I had been doing that maybe 2 or 3 years before this, was a meditation and a gratitude practice. So I delved even deeper into my meditation and my gratitude practice. And then, really advocating for myself, speaking my voice and what I wanted, what I didn't want, being, never really struggled to say no, because I've, always have said no is a complete sentence, but I really made sure I stood by that, and not felt badly about saying no at all. and saying yes. And, when you know where you're going in life, when you have direction, when you have purpose, and God placed this purpose in me, that this was my mission, my calling, you know what to say yes to, and you know what to say no to. And when yes, or those things are going to bring you closer to your act of service, they're going to bring you closer to your purpose and you fulfilling your purpose. So I live that daily too. What is going to please God? What's going to please me? What's going to fulfill my duty in service? And then the other parts were, obviously self-care practices. I always ate healthy, but eating eating good nourishment, exercise, those type of self-care practices. And then the other part was being unapologetic in the boundaries that I created with people. I can tell you, when you go through, and you both may attest to this, when you start a new business or when you go through a really troubling time in your life, you really discover who's your love tribe and who your people are. Have you guys experienced that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. So I'm not speaking Greek to you,
No,
right?
not at all.
Ooh.
So I don't like to use I distanced myself from relationships that didn't serve me, or relationships where I felt I was overly serving and overly giving, and saved my time and my heart, and invested my heart in people who were also invested in me, people who showed up for me. Because I'm telling you, this time in my life was so difficult that my family had to literally peel me off the floor.
Wow.
And there were people, in my life who I thought were friends, who I've supported their children, their families, their baby christenings and birthdays. I've traveled to their weddings and everything. And I didn't get as much as a text or a
Mm-hmm.
phone call, so that was hard for me. And so for me, it was, yes, it was a period of pain, but there was then an acceptance, and then there was forgiveness. But then there was still this like easy, like, I don't hold any anger toward anyone. I can let them go, but I know where to place my energy and invest my time. I still stand in a place where I want people to experience my heart and to experience love, no matter who they are. But I know that I only have a container of so much that I can give. And so I'm so much more selective in a daily practice of how I distribute my time and my
Mm-hmm.
heart.
Mm, I love that. It's so hard though for people who have never had a pet
Mm.
to really get it. And I haven't had one in years now. It's been, I don't know, maybe 20 years since I've had one, but I can remember when I was in college and my dog died, and literally I was crying so hard that my roommates couldn't understand what I was saying. And
Wow.
once
I
they
get it.
finally, yeah, they had to go get my best friend. She came down, and I trusted. I knew I could trust her to tell her what was wrong with me. And
Mm.
so I told her, and I remember my other roommates being like, "Really? Her dog died?" Like it was kind of a, but I was like, "You
Ugh.
don't understand. This is who I talked to throughout my entire teenage years about my
Right.
parents."
Right. Right.
It's a
Right.
really difficult thing for people to understand who haven't had that. So yeah, that
It,
can be tragic.
It is, and that made it hurt even more, and my pain even more. But that's where that gave me the opportunity to show up for myself and love myself even more, no matter what
Mm-hmm.
people thought of it. I didn't care. I knew I had to take care of myself, so I didn't care about other people's opinions, and that is also self love. When you release the expectations and the opinions
Mm-hmm.
of others, right, and only your opinions matter, and where I am, and honoring that space for me, I felt like I didn't have to prove or explain to people how I felt. And here's the thing, I'm just going to add to this. So anybody who's listening, if you know anyone who has a dog or loses a dog or a cat or anything, here's the thing. It doesn't, and I'm not, loss is loss. Loss is loss, grief is grief. It doesn't matter if you've experienced losing a job, experienced losing a relationship in a breakup or divorce, or ever having a child and losing a child. We know that
Mm-hmm.
it's painful, right? And so if we've identified with pain, just just connect with someone else's pain. That's all you can do, right? You don't have to have experienced it to be able to offer compassion to someone else. It was very
I want
difficult.
to tap into something you said earlier, which was really important because one of the things you said, like, which is true about self love, is we're sometimes so busy rejecting our feelings. And because, people tell us that something we've experienced is not a big deal, or, other people have gone through worse, or that we are placing too much emphasis on it, we reject it, and it makes it really hard for us to be good to ourselves because we won't, allow the feelings to exist. So, what are some of the things that you've learned along the way? Like, I think you introduced self care, and that was a big way that you said you honored those feelings. But what are some of the ways that you decided, that you allow love to start there, so you can embrace the emotions no matter how hard they are, no matter what people think of them? It's something that you feel that you value, so it's important to you to nurture.
Absolutely, it is. And it's important to be clear that our feelings are not what define us, right? But
Mhm.
they are part of us, and they are part of our experience, and we have every right to experience whatever we're feeling, right? That doesn't mean we have to share it all the time or act out on that emotion, but our feelings are real. Our feelings are real in a sense that we are harboring or holding
Mhm.
something in the heart. And if it's a negative emotion, right, the part of the journey of loving yourself is embracing whatever is happening to you physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Self love is about having a complete and total connection and relationship to oneself in those areas. And so when there's negative emotions that you come up against, most of those negative emotions are probably going to be emotions from your past that you've stored, right? Pain, sadness, guilt, shame, whatever that might be. And so, in order to tap into self love, in order to, even feel a greater degree of acceptance and love, is you have to be aware of what's in your
Mhm.
heart. That's number one, right? You cannot change, grow, or transform anything if you're not aware of it. So, self love, you got to be aware of what's in your heart, aware of what thoughts you're keeping, and you want to align your thoughts with positive, high vibrational thoughts, with loving thoughts. But it's also acknowledging the thoughts that are not so good and noticing where they're coming from, right? And noticing if those thoughts are judging thoughts, condemning and consternating thoughts. Because when we're judging ourselves, we are most times cutting off a part of ourselves that we don't
Mm.
approve of. And when we cut that part of ourselves off, when we look in the mirror, guess what? We don't see that part. So, that part gets abandoned and neglected and never gets to heal or become uncovered. And then, two, we walk around
Mhm.
fragmented, right? And God created us as whole beings. And so, that part of us that we've cut off, right, interferes, and that creates these voids in us. And then we look for other people to fill those voids that we've cut off from ourselves. So, when I always tell people, when you're feeling something, feeling is the pathway to your healing. You got to feel in order to heal. And when you make space for healing those feelings, you make a way for love. You make a way for love to be expressed. But when you're feeling sad, grief, honor it, acknowledge it to yourself, but don't sit and stay in it. You got to move through it, right? Even though I was in grief and in sadness, I was moving through it. I was aware of it. Like, my light did not completely go
Mhm.
out, right? And I think that's important, right? You don't want to sit and become sadness, guilt, anger. You don't want to become those things. So that's the difference.
Yeah,
Did I answer
absolutely. I
your
think
question?
people don't want to
Okay.
feel, the pain it hurts so bad, and you don't want to feel it. But what you do, I mean, like you said, it just festers. If you never really allow yourself to expose it and heal from it, it just sits, and you won't have any love to offer yourself and offer anyone else and offer the world. And I think it's so important. I think Brandis and I both have learned where love relationships, even family, all relationships are concerned, especially with ourselves, but I wouldn't really know how to uh identify love, meaningful, true love from someone else if I hadn't understood, some of the setbacks I'd gone through and been rejected and had to deal with the pain and the, insecurity around those things.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, because, look, if you're feeling pain, if we're feeling pain, we're going into the world carrying that darkness around us, right? We're carrying that pain around us, and we're projecting that pain onto other people. And if we want to heal and illuminate the world and make the world brighter, it has to start. It must start
Yeah.
from within, right? There's no other way, like, but peace begins
Mhm.
with me, right? It's true, and one of my favorite new authors is Paul Ferrini, and it's a book called Love Without Conditions. I strongly recommend it. And he talks about that our thoughts and our emotions, They create and make the collective consciousness, so that whatever we hold in our subconscious minds, if we repress it, it's then carried out by individuals and members of society, right? So if we're carrying darkness, that's no different than the person who is also carrying out darkness, feeling darkness, but they actually carry out that darkness in a very dark
Mm-hmm.
act, right? So we each have the response. A lot of things are happening in the world, but it's really a representation, a macrocosm of the thoughts that we're having in a microcosm. And if we want to change what's happening on the outside world, each one of us has to be aware, acknowledge, and heal the thoughts and emotions that we're containing. That's how we really make the world a better place, is being aware of, right? And even now, right, we're in this really amazing spiritual age where manifestations and things are happening much faster and intentions are happening much quicker. So we have to be careful what we're thinking and what energy we're putting out in the world, because it's being received. And I think that's what we're witnessing now.
I know, and I do believe that going looking at some of the things that have taken place this year, this has been a really, really, really dark year in terms of terrorist acts and just a lot of like you said, dark things that are taking place, and it for me symbolizes just how little we think of ourselves and how low we've gotten
Yeah.
as humans, in that we've become so careless, or that we don't even consider the lives of other people and value them because we don't have a value for those things. But we're moving into the
Yeah.
holidays, Angela, and this is one of the loneliest times of year.
Oh,
So they say, and a
yeah.
lot of us are spending time with family, and some people are just doing things out of routine. I go here for Thanksgiving because it is Thanksgiving, and this is what we do. And even when you get with family, old emotions can creep up, and and sometimes we settle back into roles that we played as kids, and I can say that self love sometimes goes out the door because family can trigger something. They can say one thing that puts you right back in your third grade place. And so, what are some of the things you think our girlfriends? It's true. Family can really you can be a CEO at a
Absolutely.
major corporation. You can be thriving, winning at life, but family can poke those buttons and they can remind you of something that you did in elementary that makes that disqualifies you. So, what are some of the things that our girlfriends can need to remember as they go into this holiday season to keep them from, falling into the traps of loneliness and rejection and even some of those family traps that people face?
Yes, yes, great question. And I have to be honest, like sometimes the holidays are tough for me now because my dog did die, right? I put him in the hospital New Year's Eve. So my whole season, like my spirit remembers that holiday. So even when I'm doing something fun and great, it's like something hits me like, oh, something really tragic happened to you around this time of year,
Mm,
and it just creeps up. So the first thing I always say in relationships in general, with your family, your friends, especially if you're going home for the holidays, awareness is key. Awareness of yourself is the most important thing you can bring with you wherever you go. Because if you're meditating and you're practicing, all these really great lofty things, but then the minute that you're really poked or prodded and your values or something are being challenged and you're up against something that feels uncomfortable, right, that's when you really get to use your mindfulness practice, right? It's easy to be good and pleasant in life when things are going well, but when your family shows up and says something, can you remember your mindfulness practice, right? That's where you have to create. I teach boundaries in my coaching program, and one of the things that I teach is, do a meditation before you go around your family members, and right, and envision how you want the holiday to look, right? Like going well, picture all the festivities and picture yourself in that space and how you want to be in that space. And try to remember and hold on to that person when you're in the room with your family, and kind of pretend that you have like a bubble, a clear bubble around you that you can interact and interface with everyone. They can see you, you can hear them, but they can't penetrate you, right? Those feelings and thoughts that they say to you are just going to bounce off that bubble and go back, right? And so when you stay in that place of awareness, like, this is who I am, this is how I want to feel, when someone else projects their pain or their old judgments or criticism, you just have to take a deep breath. And truly, and I know it sounds easy, but you just have to be mindful and aware and remind yourself not to get, thrown off your game, because once you allow someone to do that, then you're just going right down to the activity that you've been wanting to move and grow away from. So I would do that. And the other thing I would say is, if it is very toxic to be around your family, don't go.
Mhm.
I mean, create a new tradition, tell your family, I'm going to go to, I don't know, Mexico for Thanksgiving or Christmas. Like, create a new tradition. If your family really feels toxic and unhealthy, and it's going to be a really, really difficult time, consider whether you should go or not. And then the last part I want to say is, when it comes to feeling lonely, because those feelings do creep in with the holiday, I say a couple things. Embrace it, one, because there is a little bit of melancholy with the holidays, right? I think of Jesus, I think of the birth of Jesus, I think of all that, and there's a melancholy to it. So whatever you feel, it's okay. Acknowledge it, right? Bring that sorrow to church or wherever, you praise or give worship. Take it under the tree, write a letter, write in your journal. And then the other thing is, no matter what you're feeling, find gratitude. Find gratitude in whatever it is, that you're there, you're alive, you got your health, your family, whatever it is that you're grateful for. Try to put your energy and investment into that during the holidays.
That's so good. You just gave us the gift of the bubble. And
Oh, the bubble's great.
I'm telling you, it's a game changer. That bubble, because I will
Mhm.
see people trying to poke my bubble, and I'm like, yeah, keep trying. You're not gonna make it through. I love
Yeah,
that. That's so good.
it is. But it's easy to fall into old patterns with our family. And that's the thing. Families are going to challenge. This is the thing. Family's going to challenge you the most to see
Yeah.
how much you've grown, to see how much you've really grown and you've changed and healed that part of you, because you're not that same 6-year, 7-year old, 14-year old, 15-year old that your family still wants to place you in. But it's your opportunity to really show your growth. And when you show your growth, it may be uncomfortable for some of your family members, but even if you don't speak or say any of it, when you heal, we create shifts in energies in relationships and connections. It just happens.
Mhm.
You don't even have to say it. Your family will feel it. But if they can't handle your growth and progress,
Yeah.
they'll adjust. They'll adjust,
So good,
or they
because
won't.
part of that self-love then is taking responsibility or taking ownership of the emotions that you utilize and how you respond, and how much people can get to that bubble, and whether or not they can get in it and around it, and what you do with the things that come your way. It's like, how much testing and trial can you really take, and owning the fact that if there is work to do, sometimes your family can be proof to you, like, okay, I'm still working that anger management piece. I've got more
Yes,
work to do in these
yes.
areas. It's so true. That's a very good place to go and kind of test and see and assess your love instead of assessing everyone else's love.
Yeah, it's true. And you just said about
Hmm.
being tested. Um, we're constantly tested. And this is where I think about, if we really want to be an example of love and self love, it's about, how do you respond to the person on the street who, cuts you off, the woman at the grocery store who cut the line or is taking too long. Like, those may seem small and minute, but they're not. They're really opportunities for us to be an
Yeah.
example of love. You never know when someone else is out there struggling and having a difficult time, where you get to be a face and a
Yeah.
representation of God, of love, you know. And yeah, it's just remembering to stay in that place. And I can tell you, what still tests me the most? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm a work in progress. We're all a work in progress. It's when I it's when I'm in a taxi in New York City, or any kind of driving service with Uber or Lyft. It's just, I don't know. I get a little, I don't know. Something just gets a little testy, and yeah, I don't know. It pushes my buttons a lot of times when I'm in the taxis.
Yeah, I don't like the chatty driver. That's for me.
And and sometimes I'm like, oh my God, Angela, no, don't, because I can get like, what it is? I'm a big proponent of customer
Mm-hmm.
service, and I still struggle sometimes when people do not provide good service. And I still, sometimes most times I'm able to step away and just say, you know what, that's their stuff. And maybe they're having a bad day. And I try to just go above that, above the fray. But sometimes if I feel like I'm met with disrespect, oh yeah, it pushes my buttons still. It does. It does.
I can totally see that. But I was gonna ask you, like, as we're going into the holidays, and like Sybil was saying, it can be a really rough and lonely time. How much is do you suggest to people to give,
To
as
get
a way of self love? Because I know when I have felt at my lowest points, one of the things that have always made me feel better is going to volunteer somewhere, or giving to something, or it just kind of like took me outside of myself for a moment.
absolutely.
um and allowed me to kind of share what I didn't even know I had inside of me to someone else.
Absolutely. You really just said it. I mean, this is so important. And the other thing about loneliness is I think when we get to the root of healing what's in our hearts, right? When we get to where that loneliness is really coming from, that sadness, that pain, that grief, whatever it is we feel like we did not get or we do not have or we're lacking, when we heal that, the loneliness really dissolves, right? There's a loneliness and there's a aloneness, but that feeling of loneliness in your heart, or you know it it begins to dissipate when you do the work to love yourself, when you allow those feelings of whatever is maybe stuck in the heart to come out. The loneliness begins to dissolve. But I agree with you completely. Giving, it's important. Like, we often feel lonely, we feel um, deprived of certain things, or so it's important to think about others who have less during the holidays. And that's why I say gratitude again. And when you say giving, absolutely. Like, anytime, not even just the holidays, when you think you have it bad, go out and give and be of service to someone who probably is struggling a lot more than you. And it's not to say do it so you feel good, but it's just nice to just take the attention off yourself and recognize how connected we all are, and that you're not the only person in pain and loneliness or sadness, that other people are feeling it too. So if you're feeling lonely over the holidays, you know, spend a little bit of time with that. Don't try to fill that loneliness with empty voids and empty material things or people, that it's just going to be a temporary elixir for that. Kind of sit with the loneliness and find out where that loneliness is coming from. And then I would say, take care of yourself and offer yourself love and give yourself what you need to help you move through that loneliness. If that's be around people, if it's finding someone else who's also struggling with a little bit of something, you guys spend time together, spend time in church, prayer. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah,
I
I
love
love that. And you
Yeah.
have an event coming up, right?
I'm sorry.
You have an event coming up, right?
I do. So I'm so passionate about self love and this message that I've created a summit centered all around it. And I've gathered 20 plus experts, and Sybil is one of them. Thank you, Sybil. Woo. And we're talking all things self love. We are addressing and getting nitty gritty about what it means, what it looks like, and removing the esoteric from it, because people think it's a hashtag, right? Self love is a hashtag, it's a trending topic, self love, self love. But what does it mean? What does it look like? And how does it show up in your life every day? So I created this summit. It's going to launch on December 4th. And the link is the site is radicalselflovesummit.com. Yeah, radicalselflovesummit.com. And I mean, I've just gathered some amazing, amazing presenters to speak about what self-love means to them. And I really want people to walk away from this summit and in everything that I do in my service and coaching with real practical tips and tools to experience self-love, to understand what it means. So that's what this summit is about. So I hope you guys tune in. It's going to be great. It's been a lot of work.
I
And
love it. Is it
yeah, you do.
online, or is it in New York?
Yes.
Or
No,
okay,
no, no. It's an all telesummit, all online. So when you go
okay,
into the link, you'll be able to listen to the different interviews. It's going to be over 11 or 12 days, 2 interviews a day. And you'll be able to get some really inspiring gems from everyone. And Sybil
thank
was
you.
fantastic, right,
It was
Sybil? We had a
fun. It
great
was a good
time.
conversation.
Yeah, no.
I felt like, okay, if this is the sentiment or the tone of the entire event that you're setting, it's going to be amazing. Yeah.
Oh,
I hope our girlfriends
thank you.
register.
Yeah, and I do too. And the thing is like, and when it was a time to approach presenters to be part of it, everyone really wanted to be a part of it, right? Everyone wants to be part of a message in self-love. Like, who wouldn't want to impart what they know or what they feel, what they've experienced or gathered? And so, Sybil, your interview was one of my favorites. It was just so honest and raw, and um, you offered real carrots and gems for people to, you know, understand and love themselves. So I appreciate you joining me and
My
sharing this
pleasure.
platform
My
with me.
pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. And so,
Of course, of
what are your
course.
social handles for our girlfriends to connect with and follow you and stay posted on the Love Sanctuary?
Yes. Okay. So the Love Sanctuary website, if you want to follow me and get my blog, my love notes that I send to you with inspiring details, and it's lovesanctuary.com. And my Instagram is Love Sanctuary Coaching. My Twitter, which I'm not very active on, but it's my first name, Angela, N like Nicole, last name Holton. And then my Facebook is my name, Angela N. Holton. And then my business page is Love Sanctuary. So, and you're welcome to follow me on either one. I pretty much kind of use them interchangeably. And that's it, I think. Those are all the social media handles. Yeah, that's it. Oh, and the other thing, I just collaborated in a book on meditations. A great holiday gift if you're thinking about wanting to get something. It's a book on meditation. It's called 111 Meditations, Creating Your Daily Intention. And you can go to Amazon on that. So
Nice.
that's, yeah, yeah,
Good.
yep.
Congratulations on
I
all
love
of this. And
Thank
happy
you.
holidays
Thank
to you,
you. Thank
Angela,
you.
and to all of our great girlfriends.
Happy holidays. Thank you, girlfriends, for having me and listening. And hopefully you've been inspired to just love yourself a little bit
Yes,
more
yes,
today.
yes. I feel more I feel like I'm more intentional for sure. I have some things I need to reassess where food is concerned and and that portion of self-love.
But you know what? I always say with food, it starts before you even
Mhm.
put it in your mouth. Like, just embrace what you're eating. I don't believe in calling it cheat days. I don't believe in like saying, judging what you eat. Just embrace what you eat, even if it's like, because change doesn't come by us beating ourselves up. Change and growth happens when we love our bodies, our minds, and even the chocolate brownie we choose, right? I'm not saying choose the chocolate brownie every day, but I'm saying when you eat it, put good energy and good intention and good love behind every single bite of that
Yes.
brownie.
Nice.
Yeah, enjoy
I needed
it.
that.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. I mean, literally, do you feel better when you beat yourself up after
Not
you
at
ate too
all.
much or ate something else? No. Right. No. Right. So enjoy the brownie and say, you know what? Tomorrow I won't eat a brownie and I'll go to the gym. And then it's done. It's over.
That's
It's a
dope.
wrap.
I love it.
But that doesn't mean, okay, if you do put a lot of food on your plate over holidays, just go to the gym. Just go to the gym. And whatever you do, just don't call it cheat days. Don't say you're going to cheat over the holidays because even that gives it a negative connotation
Mhm.
that you're doing something wrong and
Yeah.
you're not, right? You know, you're not cheating. You're enjoying simple pleasures in life.
Enjoying yourself. Yes.
Yeah, and enjoy it mindfully, right? Like, this good food wasn't created for us to enjoy it. So, and you're talking to someone who used to be pretty strict and hard on myself about, oh, I can't eat dairy, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, and I still have a very health conscious diet. But if I want to taste some dairy,
Mhm.
it's okay. It's okay, So, be flexible, have fun,
Thank you,
enjoy,
Angela. Thank you.
and hit the gym. Yeah. I'm telling you, that changes everything. It changes the whole thing. Just change the
I love
mindset.
it. I love it. Well, that's it for us, girlfriends. Angela, thank you so much. You gave us a ton of great nuggets to go with. Yeah,
I
and
hope so.
your spirit is just very transparent, and we can all feel it through you just when you speak. Hmm.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank
This
you
is
so much. That's really my goal.
So, how amazing was Angela?
that was so good, Sid.
She
Just
just
let me tell you, great girlfriends. Sometimes Sybil gets it right.
You know what? Sometimes
every,
I do. Other times I really don't get it right.
every now and again, Simple gets it right.
I love that. Angela I feel like we're by the fireplace with chestnuts and s'mores and just enjoying a moment with our sister and some hot cocoa.
Yeah, what a did you say a fireplace? Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah, that was a moment. If
So
you're
good.
looking for energy, like like what's that girl who said our podcast is like Drake? That wasn't the Drake. That was definitely the Sade.
Yeah,
You need
it's totally Sade.
that was it.
Soothing, very soothing.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, we always close out by thanking those husbands. So Kwaku, thank you so much. I love you dearly.
And thank you to Mr. Rich Daniel. So happy to be back with him.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Sam and Dylan, for doing your job at school, staying out of trouble. Amen.
Thank you to Miss Sky.
For doing her job at school.
She cried when I dropped her off this morning. It was terrible. But that's why I just left it at thank you to Miss Sky.
Yes. And thank you, great girlfriends, for trusting us as your go-to source for everything life, love, and laughter. Make sure you're listening every single Wednesday on iTunes, Stitcher, Podcast Republic, Podcast Bean, Blueberry, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and almost every other podcasting service.
Absolutely. And please do check us out on our social. Not just check us out, follow us, engage with us on our Instagram,
The Great Girlfriends,
on our Twitter,
_great GFS,
and on our Facebook.
The Great Girlfriends.
And we are pretty active in our Facebook. We're getting even better. But if you guys ever want to talk to us, just tag us in there. We got you.
Yes, make sure you do it. And make sure you post your questions online. You share with your friends. Keep listening and keep being a great girlfriend. I'm Sybil.
I'm Brandis.
And we're signing off.
Bye, guys.
Peace.